I lived most of my life out behind my mother and father's house in a little old shed my daddy built for me. They didn't too much want me up there in the house with the rest of them, so I mostly just sat around out there in the shed all the time looking at the ground. It didn't have no floor, but I had me a hole dug to lay down and a quilt or two that I put down there. My daddy was a hard-working man most of his life. Not that I could say the same for myself. I most just sitting around the shed and tinkering around with the lawnmower or two, winter school off and on from time to time. Children there made quite a bit fun of me and sported me and made fun of me quite a bit. Some of them roughed me up sometimes, but mostly I just stayed back there in the shed. My daddy worked down the sawmill down there at the planter mill for an old man named Dixon. Old man Dixon was a very cruel feller. He didn't treat his employees very well. Didn't pay him much of a wage. Didn't pay my daddy much of a wage. Just barely enough to get by on. But I reckon he got by all right. They come out there and the other them, usually my mother, and fed me pretty regularly. At least I know he made enough for me to have mustard and biscuits 3 or 4 times a week. Old man Dixon had a boy named Jesse Dixon. Jesse was really more cruel than his daddy. He made quite a bit of sport of me and made fun of me and taking advantage of the little girls around the neighborhood quite a bit. He used to say my mother was a very pretty woman. He said it quite a bit from time to time when I was at the schoolhouse. Well, I reckon you want me to get on and tell you what happened, so I reckon I'll tell you. I was sitting out in the shed one evening, not doing too much of nothing, just kind of staring at the wall, waiting for my mother to come out and give me my Bible lesson. I heard her commission in the house there, so I got up, ran up on the screen-in porch there to see what was going on, and looked in the kitchen window, and I see my mother laying there on the floor without any clothes on. Seen Jesse Dixon laying on top of her, having his way with her. Well, I just seen red. I picked up a kaiser blade that was laying there by the screen door. Some folks call it a sling blade. I call it a kaiser blade. Just a long handle like an axe handle with a long blade on it that's shaped kind of like a banana. Sharp on one edge and dull on the other. It's what the highway boys used to cut down them weeds and whatnot. I went in the kitchen there and I hit Jesse Dixon upside the head with it. Knocked him off my mother. I reckon that didn't quite satisfy me, so I hit him again in the neck with the sharp edge and just plumb near took his head off. Killed him. Well, my mother, she jumped up from there and started yelling, "What did you kill Jesse for? What did you kill Jesse for?" Well, come to find out my mother didn't really mind what Jesse was doing to her. I reckon that made me madder than what Jesse had made me. So I take in the kaiser blade. Some folks call it a sling blade. I call it a kaiser blade. And I hit my mother upside the head with it and killed her.